Hey, welcome to this class on Bassem Youssef. I'm going to be typing him and yeah, just going to be following the normal procedure here. The disclaimer is that no type accuracy is guaranteed, but we're going to try our best to get as close to what his actual personality type is going to be. Yeah, so the order of events is that we're going to go over the previous episode for a little bit, and then we're going to introduce Bassem Youssef, look into his clips, some interviews, and then we're going to narrow down our guess as to what his type is going to be. And then we'll just talk a little bit about what the next episode is going to be in 2 weeks. So yeah, live informal typing. Let's go. So previous on the last episode, we covered Mehdi Hasan, and so I was seeing him as an ESTP. That's sleep last, more extroverted version. And I have him as double masculine, MM. It's possible that he is MF, but I also have him as a number 3. So anyway, it could be double masculine, it could be MF, but anyway, I'm seeing him as an ESTP. That is more a specializing version of that, so that makes it a little bit different. It makes him almost look a bit like an IJ. But anyway, he's an ESTP, and I had a good time with that one. But yeah, with this one, we're looking into Bassem Youssef, and the first impression is he's some kind of NE user, like an NE comedian, like an EP. It's possible. I mean, there's different builds, different physical attributes to the different types, so that's something to look at as well. But he's also known as Egypt's Jon Stewart, or the Arab Jon Stewart. So it's good to see them kind of get along, and actually Jon Stewart helped him out a lot early on in his career and kind of gave him the idea of getting into comedy in the first place. So let's take a look at the first clip where he actually is giving a tribute to John, who won the Mark Twain Prize or award, something like that. And yeah, so this is Bassem Youssef. He used to be a doctor, and then he became a comedian. And let's see him introduce himself.
Cairo, Egypt, 2003. Yes. That was the first time I ever saw Jon Stewart on something called a television. We didn't have Comedy Central there, and YouTube was not even invented. But every Arab home had CNN. You see, after the first Iraq war, CNN functioned as an early warning system to know where America will strike us next. And it was CNN when I first saw Jon Stewart. It was the once-a-week global edition of The Daily Show. And honestly, I didn't really understand his jokes. For someone like me living in the Middle East, I didn't understand who are Democrats, what is a Republican, and why is he so pissed at Fox News? But because of Jon, I became aware of political satire and American messed up politics. I had a dream to have a similar show in Egypt. But at that time, it was almost impossible. We had a president for 30 years, and in the Middle East, that is a very short first term. But Cairo, Egypt, 2011, the Arab Spring happened, and we had an opportunity. I made a couple of YouTube videos channeling a very cheap knockoff version of The Daily Show, and it went viral. And before I knew it, I was on television with a very small show. On that day, I left medicine, and because of that decision, many more patients are alive today. People in Egypt loved the show. Authority, not so much. And then during my show, there was a warrant for my arrest. I was interrogated for 6 hours. And they asked me straight up, does Jon Stewart sponsor you? I said, that's ridiculous. Everybody knows he's a cheap so he keep Emmys in a box behind the door. I went on his show in 2012. And after the show, I told him, I'm going to make you a promise. I'm going to create the biggest political satire show in the Middle East. with the first ever show with live audience, and I would love you to come. And he made me a promise. He's like, I will come. I had the most popular show in the Middle East, but there were also riots in the streets. There were tear gas. We had to smell it in every day when we were doing the show in the theater. And even the State Department issued a warning telling Americans not to go to Egypt. But you came. You fulfilled your promise. 2 weeks after that, the military seized power from the Islamists. I called Jon. I said, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. The new authority is too popular, too loved. I'm scared people would turn against me and I would lose my popularity. So he said, well, you need to ask yourself, do you want to do comedy or do you want to do something that would last forever? So I went all the way. I pushed the envelope. I spoke up. And as expected, my show was canceled. People turned against me. I faced lawsuits and defamation, and I had to escape from Egypt. So you, Jon. Seriously, man. Thanks for nothing, buddy. I don't know what happened. I could have stayed and be a sellout, a very rich sellout. You had to be an inspiration. But I'm glad I'm here to tell you I love you, man. You all talk about his impact in America, but you don't understand the impact that he has outside of America. Even in my region, people learned about American politics from you, which I find it really pathetic. But it's like you don't understand the impact that you have on so many people all around the world. You are the source of everything. You are the origin story of every one of us. I am forever grateful for CNN because they introduced me to you. Thank you, man.
Yep, that was pretty good. I think, his introduction there is really done well because he had this show in Egypt and, he's copying off of Jon Stewart, who is an ENFP. And, what kind of person would be able to copy an ENFP? Is it another ENFP? It's possible. But we're still deciding that. And in that clip, you could see him really navigating the NF very well. So he probably has that high up there somewhere. And yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like Jon Stewart is doing comedy in America, but doing it in Egypt is going to be very hard because there's a lot more political tension there. And so, there's only a few types that could manage to do this type of show. The Daily Show, and so Bassem is he attempted to do it and he got punished for it and he left Egypt for that. But it's interesting to see that. So the next one is it's with Stephen Colbert, but you get to see what his style of humor is. And for me, when I was looking at Bassem, I was like, I can see that he has intuition, but is it NI or is it NE? Is he able to kind of dance with Stephen Colbert? Is he able to kind of make him laugh? And are they going to have the same humor? So that's the thing to watch here. And like, what is Bassem's style of humor? Because a lot of times, based on the way people tell jokes, or tell truths, whichever way, it's like you can tell a lot about a person's personality type based on how they're joking. So let's see what kind of jokes Bassem is making.
We have this segment we do on the show
Yes.
here. It's called Big Furry Hat.
Yes.
And where I go up there and I make declarations to the people. You noticed that, was it Mubarak or Morsi?
It's Morsi.
Morsi wore a big hat.
Yes.
And you mocked him
2013
on your show by wearing a big, stupid hat. And how did that turn out for you?
Oh, I was there was a warrant for my arrest. I went there
After this?
Yeah. I was interrogated for 6 hours. It was funny because the guy was interrogating me and the lawyers in the room was laughing at the jokes because he was interrogating me about things that I said in the show. Mm-hmm. And what was funny is that at the beginning of the interrogation, he said, we have some CDs for you, your episode, so we can review it. And they tried for 15 minutes to play it on this outdated Windows 95 computer. And I tried to help them because it was taking too long.
Right.
So I was actually helping them to play the evidence against me, which is crazy. But that's like only one of the few things that happened to me. I was accused of insulting the president, insulting Islam, spreading false rumors. Later, under the current regime, I was accused of insulting the army, being a secret operative. But the craziest accusation I ever had was that they accused me of being recruited by the CIA through Jon Stewart.
They said that Jon Stewart
Was a CIA recruit
who recruited you to work for the CIA.
to bring down the country through satire.
And you and I both know that's not true.
Of course.
Because that would mean I'm probably an agent too, because I've known Jon longer than you have.
Yeah.
And the idea that Jon is recruiting us,
No, I mean,
terrible idea.
do you think he's actually in an animal farm?
I'll tell you what I love. My favorite thing about you being arrested, if you'll pardon me having a favorite thing.
Please.
I'm a huge fan of you being arrested. My favorite thing about you being arrested is that when you were arrested, you turned yourself in, right?
Yeah.
And a crowd of people went with you
Yes.
to being turned in. And this was, again, after you wore this hat, mocking the president. You were arrested, and you showed up wearing the hat.
Yeah, so that's basically his style of humor. You know, he has this hat and he's just riffing on it and making fun of the people in power with it. So something I'm seeing, as well as the intuition, and you know, he's using the censor, you know, to make the joke, you know, prop humor. It can be kind of like the NESI situation where you have the SI hat, and from there is the possibilities of the jokes. You also have kind of the friends energy that we're going to be seeing a lot of. You know, the relationship between the social fours and the ones is like whoever's in power, the social fours are able to make fun of them. And then finally you got like the infodom of like, you know, it's possibly infodom where, you know, it's a little hard for Bassem to make jokes because he has to get the information right, or the jokes are about the information. But we're gonna see more clips. I actually have a number of clips today, but yeah, the first two were kind of longer just because I just want to set it up so that you get to know him a little bit more. But the next few clips are the next one is actually the clip that went viral for him and propelled his career even more. But it's basically him talking about certain political situation or certain situation that was unfolding in the world with Piers Morgan, and we're going to watch that. And it's kind of like, which role is he playing in the world? He's definitely using like dark humor. So I guess, if you're uncomfortable with the subject matter, you know, definitely just watch a different video or skip ahead. But we're gonna just watch this clip. It went viral. It's almost 3 minutes. So yeah, let's watch it. See what we can pull out of there. Is it really NF? Is it NT? Is it, you know? But yeah, it's a good opportunity to like guess which personality type he has from the types of jokes. Again, you know, who's able to make this type of joke.
I want to understand, what is the logic of Israel carpet bombing Gaza? I mean, if there's a logic, if this will make Israel safe, I want to hear the logic. So if they continue bombing, what are they hoping to achieve?
Well, I think we know what their stated aim is. Their stated aim is to eradicate and wipe out Hamas. They believe Hamas are living predominantly in northern Gaza. They also are aware they're living amongst civilians.
So if I can understand this correctly, basically Israel is doing this to pressure the Palestinian community in Gaza to turn against Hamas. Is that right?
I'm sure that's part of it, yes.
That's part of it. So this is exactly what terrorist organizations do, because terrorist organizations will have no chance beating a whole nation in battle. So they terrorize and they kill the civilians in order to spread fear and terror so they can turn against their government to change their policy or to resign. You have just compared Israel with ISIS. I would say I really applaud Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said They said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. Because with this logic, if Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses, we're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them, go invade. It's fine. You have done your job. Israeli defense minister, he said, those are human animals. And the thing is, Ben Shapiro should know better because, you know, long before the Holocaust, before Jewish people were thrown in the gas chambers, the Nazi propaganda called them rats. Now, as a human being, I will never accept that another human being being thrown into a gas chamber, but a rat, kill 10, kill 1,000, 3,500. They are son of a bitch. They are human animals who live in open sewage and decapitate babies. And because of that propaganda, Mr. Morgan, that guy in Illinois, the 71 years old guy, he killed, stabbing the 6-year-old Palestinian kid in Illinois 26 times. And he used to play with him. They used to be friends. But he went in, marching into their apartment, stabbing his mother and killing him, shouting, all Muslims could die. It took you 80 years to change one word from Jewish to Muslim. And then you transferred your guilt to us. The thing is, this is the problem. Israel always victimizes itself, and I have never seen a victim putting their oppressor under siege and bombing them 24/7. Israel wants you to believe that they are the victim. Dealing with Israel is so difficult. It's like being in a relationship with a narcissistic psychopath. He fucks you up, and then he makes you think it's your fault.
All right,
you look at Israel as Superman, but they're really Homelander. Wallahi, they are like they are shooting fish in a barrel, and they are annoyed with the splashes.
Bassem?
Yeah. Okay, I think I might have pulled the wrong clip, but yeah, there's actually more jokes in there. But yeah, you could see when he's talking about these situations, he's able to use intuition and kind of making comparisons, analogies. But yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard for someone who's intuitive to talk about the censor, to talk about the realities of the situation. Yeah, this particular clip is probably not the part that went viral, but anyway, yeah, it's just when tragedies happen, it's the social force who try to use humor to get past it, or help cope with the feelings. But yeah, the next one is a bit more clear because he's talking to another number 4 person, Theo Von, who is an ISTP. But yeah, you're gonna be able to see a bit more clearly, like he's using the analogies in the NF and the NT. But yeah, it's the other one was just like, oh man, it's hard to manage the vibe on these shows. Holy crap. All right, let's look at this one because I feel like you'll be able to see the NT play, or the NE plus TE functions at work.
And because and I gave this example to Chris Cuomo once. It's like Israel is like Palestine, Gaza, and West Bank is like a small fishbowl, and you have the power to go into this fishbowl and you just like kick the shit out of those fish anytime you want. At a certain point, one fish will be crazy enough, suicide enough to jump from the fishbowl and bite with your pinky. That's October 7th.
Yeah.
So you're going, oh, I'm going to destroy. It's already destroyed.
Yeah, you're creating piranhas.
You understand that in just 8 months, Israel have bombed Gaza more than America has bombed Pakistan, Iraq for 8 years.
Wow.
In 8 months. You don't do that. You don't do that. And of course they tell you, oh, it's collateral damage, which is crazy, right? It's just, oh, those people that died, it's collateral damage. We really wanted to take that terrorist, but the school got in the way. I mean, the geography is very hostile. Every time we kill Hamas, they just like schools and babies come out of nowhere. It's like
I shouldn't be laughing at this.
I know. I mean, it's dark because sometimes I feel that Israel has some sort of a program called No Civilian Left Behind. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're a little kid playing soccer or a Hamas terrorist, you get a piece of the action. You understand?
Yeah, it's like favored nations. Kind of.
Because I, as an Arab, I have no power. I'm not powerful as the United States. I'm not powerful as Israel. So all I have to do is just like laugh at this,
right?
Because that doesn't work. So
Yeah, okay, that was a much better clip because yeah, you're seeing how he's using the intuition because he doesn't have the power in the sensory world. He has to use humor, he has to use jokes to get through the darkness of reality. And you can see him use different analogies, or he's trying even in the other interview where it was a little more difficult because yeah, he was fumbling with the headphones, which is funny because that's a demon sensing thing. Is like the actual sensory will trip you up, and also an observer issue. But he's using NETE where he's able to kind of work with, if this analogy doesn't work, he'll pick up another one. And yeah, NT play is going to be the best at doing that kind of comedy. Yeah. But yeah, the ST reality needs to be softened one way or another. In this next one, we're gonna see him talk a little bit more about like how he was, growing up through the, what kind of role he was taking on and how he might have been, doing some extrovert energy basically. And then we'll see if we can pull out info or sleep last from that. But yeah, we'll have to see how because there's always like the introverted version of your type or the extroverted version of your type. So if he is an ENFP or something like that, is he kind of on the more introverted side, or is he more extroverted?
Of the cool kids. So all I did was playing sports and being a nerd. So I did all of the school teams and I was a nerd. So all of my life I was just, I think I went even to medical school because in my mind I didn't want to have that much of a free time because I didn't know what to do with the free time because I didn't have the luxury to go out. So I said like, all right. So when people say like, go out, like I'm busy, I'm studying. So this is how I got into medicine. And actually I used that in studying in a crash course for 2 weeks for the second interview because, everything that we say would be every slip up.
Yes.
It's going to be magnified.
Piers Morgan, if he watches this, will be so happy that you treated him like medical school. Basically.
I did. Actually, I texted him. I texted him after the second interview. I told him, thank you, Piers, for making me push myself to be on the level where I can actually be on that room with you. I have to be, I'm actually very appreciative of him.
It's funny because you said your parents are a judge and a
university professor.
University professor. And they must be very proud that you became a doctor before. Obviously not finishing, not continuing. My team and I, we had a long discussion. I think I messaged you about title. What do we call this podcast? I was WhatsApping you as well. And one of the names we had was We Should Have Been Doctors. Because I thought we have a bunch of culture. We have a bunch of brown people who go into arts, media, politics, news. That's the kind of guests, comedy, Hollywood. We've got a bunch of great guest hosts coming. A lot of us, our parents wanted us to be doctors, and you actually did it. I didn't. My mother's a doctor. My father's an engineer. The Asian cliche.
So did you actually go into?
Neither me nor my sibling are doctors. We're both journalists.
Not even pre-med?
No, not even. I didn't even do science all the way till the end of high school.
How did they react to that?
Yeah. So anyway, basically, he's doing all the things between being a doctor and a comedian. Like, what kind of person can do all of those things? I feel like with the infodom and potentially sleep last and the certain animal stack that he has, it is more possible for him to kind of learn all the knowledge, get enough knowledge to go and do multiple things. And when he did have to prepare for an interview, he was comfortable to go in and learn more information. So I'm seeing extrovert, but we'll see. So this is the second to last clip. I'm just going to show why he is savior of friends or, more tribe motivated, because whenever he's trying to talk about himself, he kind of has a resistance to being the guy, being the person, having the flex, having the, being the representation of a certain issue. He wants to kind of, not be the center of attention.
I mean, you have become very famous here, partly because of a couple of interviews you've done recently about Israel Gaza. You did one with Piers Morgan that got millions and millions of views. How do you feel about that role now of sort of, the voice of a dispossessed?
Well, as I said before in one of my interviews, I have seen this movie before. Because in Egypt, when I switched from medicine, I had my own television show. The show was very successful, and suddenly I was told the same things. You're the voice of the people, or the voice of the revolution. I said, guys, I'm a comedian, please.
You were the Jon Stewart of Egypt.
And I said, and here's the problem: when people get so frustrated with a certain issue, with a certain topic, and they find someone that they can resonate with, they put all of their hopes and dreams and all of their expectations on that person. And at the end of the day, you're a human being, and you have limits, and I have limits. And at a certain point, like I did in Egypt, I couldn't continue anymore. So I kind of bailed out because it was not safe. It was too much for me. Here, I found myself in a position where I'm defending a cause that I've never been part of. I'm not a Palestinian. I'm married to someone who's half Palestinian, and even she's not even active about it. Her main concern is about the kids, basically. But I found myself being into that position.
I mean, your wife had family in Gaza. Are they still there?
Yeah, they're still in Rafah.
And are you in touch? I mean, do you know?
They're trying to get out. They're in the process of trying to get out.
Yeah, so you don't want the number 4 to be the person who is now the center of this issue, because he doesn't have the energy for it. It's a lot of it's just a constant situation where you need someone who has all the knowledge, who's willing to be that center of attention for that issue. And he's just trying to do comedy, but he's willing to talk about these issues, but he doesn't want that to be the only thing he talks about. And it also, it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of momentum to just keep going in that sphere. And, he has a whole career to take care of. And I think a lot of people do, but it's just when these issues come up, you want to say something. And so, yeah, it's, he's doing his best, but we need, more people to represent all the various issues that are going on, and it can't just, fall on one person. So yeah, I mean, I think he's right to express that viewpoint or not let everything fall on his shoulders. Yeah. In the next one, so this is the last clip. You'll see him kind of talking a little bit about career as well as like the struggles of an EP. So it's it's if he is a number 4, if he is friends first or tribe motivated first, he's gonna have specialized second. So we're gonna get a glimpse of that, but that'll be a little bit weird because if he is an EP, who cares about his career? There's gonna be a little bit of a tension. There's a tension between those two personality traits.
Yeah, that must have been pretty confusing for some years, feeling like you were ousted there and not really maybe welcome here. Like, and I know you started talking about Palestine a lot in the last year, but you've been political this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, were you talking about Palestine a lot in the previous years?
No, I wasn't. I'll be very honest with you. When I left Egypt, I got disenfranchised. I didn't want to be. I wanted to be as far away as possible from my days of political satire in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing stand-up comedy in English. I started to do like plant-based diet videos about like health and stuff. The show in Egypt was so big in the Arab world that it was like a black hole. It would suck anything in existence.
Right.
Like anything cannot exist. So anything I would do would be compared with it. So I decided to do comedy with this different language so to remove even the possibility of comparison. I didn't do stand-up comedy in Arabic.
Right.
I want it's like it's just politics is just too much. And for 5 years, I just focus on that career. This is going to be my career now. I'm going to do stand-up comedy in English. I'm going to go back in Arabic. I don't care about the Arab world. I don't care about politics. And when October 7th happened, I didn't want to talk about it in the beginning because it was so scary because of all of the lies of the decapitated babies. Or how can you defend that? And then when I started.
So what I'm trying to highlight in this clip is basically like he's trying to get away from the OI. He's trying to get away from the organized conclusion of he's talking about political issues. He wants to get away from it, but he kind of can't because he's already kind of made that association or has those certain feelings or things to talk about. And it's just hard for him to like redefine himself. But yeah, he's just talking through it. Whoops.
Yeah. That must have been
I just focus on that career. This is going to be my career now. I'm going to do stand-up comedy in English. I'm going to go back in Arabic. I don't care about the Arab word. I don't care about politics. And when October 7th happened, I didn't want to talk about it in the beginning because it was so scary because of all of the lies of the decapitated babies. Or how can you defend that? And then when I started saying, like, no, this is not right.
Yeah.
And I saw this interview with Ben Shapiro and Piers Morgan.
Oh, he's my favorite. Ben Shapiro's my favorite.
He's the smartest guy on earth.
Yeah.
And for over a week, Piers Morgan people were contacting me to get on the show. I kept saying no. I kept saying no. I kept saying no. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to get into this.
What changed?
This is the most chronic. When I saw the Ben Shapiro interview, because I said, like, those people are getting away with practically with.
And they wouldn't let you debate Ben Shapiro because you're not in community college.
Oh yeah, right. because I'm not a 18 years old kid.
Yeah.
And no, so they wanted me to come on Piers Morgan.
Yeah. So anyway, it's like he's trying to get away from it, but he can't. He does have something to say. He has his OI that he, tried to get away from, but he's having to, his career is not escaping from what he's built in the past. And so that is the struggle of an EP. He's, I thought he could be a different type, but turns out he really does have the same struggles as all of us EP folks, where you just, you're trying to diversify, you're trying to have variety, but you just keep having to come back to what is known one way or another, even though you're always just trying to go on all these tangents. So the first narrow down that I have here is basically intuition, observer, and extrovert. Now, I think extrovert's a little hard to prove sometimes, but with Bassem, but I feel like he's working a lot and he's able to navigate multiple careers, and it doesn't seem like he has that much of a need to slow down in that regard. But I could be wrong. Again, I already made the disclaimer that the type might not be accurate. But an alternate way of narrowing down here is that I am seeing NF and DI. Now, the thing about narrowing down to NF is that it could be a few other things, right? But at least, it's hard to prove one way or another. But I'm seeing NF. I'm seeing self above tribe. He's talking about his own perspective. He's not talking about other people's perspectives. And he is an observer. He's very much double deciding, and he's not like, the pathway is the important part. The issues, the political issues are the thing that he's talking about, and he's taking that very seriously, but he's not taking himself seriously. He's not taking other people seriously, which is what deciders would do. Like, we're not having a people conversation here. And so basically you combine all of those things and you see that he is potentially an ENFP, as I've been saying, because the information dominance and the extroversion is, as well as that's just going to point to OE. I see that OE is not even checked off here. But basically he has the energy of someone who's just making all these different jokes, all these different career changes, but he keeps coming back to just this rebellious nature that he has, where he's just trying to put on a show and have a career, but it's dragging him in so many different directions. And it's a little hard to watch, but he's making the most of it. And it's just there's a lot of pressure for a social 4, because he is this friendly guy, but he ends up having to be kind of a voice to a large group of people, and then that's very hard to live up to. So there's a number of issues like that where he's discussing, like, it's hard to come from that sort of background. It's hard to kind of define yourself, but it's anyway, he's doing it and he has support. But yeah, it's tough to be a comedian these days because people put so much on you. Like, they put more burdens on comedians than they do politicians. So that's the tough part of this whole thing. So yeah, my final guess is MF NEFI, consume, play, blast, sleep, blast, number 4, which, this type should not be shouldering that much burden, but Bassem is, and that's what makes him really cool. Now, it could be a different type. there are a few other types I considered, but he's definitely a social 4, and he's definitely an intuitive observer. There's a few that I am very confident on. Yeah, and so I'll let you know if there's any changes to my guess, but that's as far as it goes for Bassem Youssef. And yeah, we'll see how if I make any other changes. In 2 weeks, the next typing class is going to be on another comedian, which I'll be a little bit better about selecting the clips so that they're actually funny and not dry. Is Sammy Obeid. In 2 weeks, he is a comedian that used to be a math teacher, or maybe he still does math teaching. No, he's been a stand-up comedian for a while, and he's gotten more into success over the years. And but he's been very consistent. I will say he is a social 4, so he's another friendly guy. And yeah, that's going to be in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to that. And I hope the vibe wasn't too bad this week. I mean, I feel like comedians are having to deal with a lot, and yeah, that's hopefully the rest of society picks up the slack and the comedians can get back to making jokes. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe as usual. Yeah, take care.